me a card, and I love crafting for the crafter, and that is you. So what I have to share with you today on this Wacky Wednesday is how I add wax to envelopes. Sometimes we spend so much time creating a beautiful card, but the outside package that is going to be seen first is very plain. So a way to add a little bit of more interest to your card, to the envelope, is by simply adding a seal made out of wax. And I know for sure that people notice it. I know that my family, friends and family, they look for that seal. If it doesn't have that seal, I actually get the look of, oh, what happened? So by simply adding a seal made out of wax, it just brings the whole card and envelope to a higher level, and it gives it so much more character. And believe me when I say that the first time that they see these seals on your envelopes, you are definitely going to get a wow, fancy. I don't know, it just makes people feel so much more special. And I most definitely do this when I'm going to hand give a card. I'm not too fond of adding these embellishments when something is going to be mailed because I feel that it gets damaged and my cards are bulky as it is. So my recommendation is to hand deliver if you are going to be adding these seals. Okay, so first I'm going to start off by opening this package that I got from Craspire. And this is a company that sells wax seals or things to make them happen. And I'm going to show you both ways here and some other little tips and tricks that I have. Now, Craspire did reach out to me and asked me for a review, and I will gladly review their products. Okay, so the first one that I thought is brilliant are wax seals that are already made. Sometimes I am running around getting ready for a party, and I finish the card, I guess, fast as I can. And I want to add this seal when I already have the family waiting in the car. So these seals are a super easy way to go about adding a seal in a fast way. You just peel off the backing and stick it on your envelope, and off you go. And as you can see, this seal looks legit. It looks like a seal. It has the 3D dimension that we're always looking for, and it just looks great. So this is the easy way. Now let me show you how you create these seals without taking the shortcut of having it on a sticker. Okay, so you need some type of holding device that will hold the flame and will hold the spoon where you're going to be melting the wax. Now they sell these devices here, but you can also just grab a candle and use that to heat up your spoon. So I mentioned spoon. Yes, you will need a metal spoon so you can melt wax. Wax. Yes, you need wax to be able to create the seal. And I mentioned seal. Yes, there are different kinds of seals you can use to create this wax seal. Now, there's a world of different seals that are out there in different markets, different stores. I simply fell in love with this one that they had in store that just says happy birthday, and I like that it was in an oval shape rather than it being in a circle, which is what you find most of the time. So when you first purchase one of these seals, make sure that you purchase it with the wooden handle. Now these wooden handles allow you to interchange the head of the seal. This way you can have a lot of seals, but yet you don't need to have or store all these handles. So the way that this works is that you grab the holding device, which is a wax seal warmer, light the flame on the candle, and then place the metal spoon right over it. Now this device has a little hole just the size of the spoon, just to make it a little easier for you. Then you place the little pieces of colored wax inside the spoon and wait for it to melt. Now Craspire allowed me to pick a color of wax that I would like to review, and in this case I chose what was closest to teal, of course. So it was this green. And what I really liked about this product is that it comes with different pieces of wax of different shades of green. This way, if you want to make a swirly effect, you could put 2-3 different colors in there, or if you want one solid color, you just pick little pieces of the same color. So as you can see, the wax is melting slowly. This is where I say that you don't need this holding device. You could simply hold the metal spoon over a burning candle and that'll melt your wax. Now this melting process has been sped up for you. It takes about, I would say, about 3 minutes for the wax to completely melt. And as soon as it reaches that melting point, you want to remove it as soon as you can because you don't want the wax to boil. Because as it boils, it will create bubbles. And we would like a smooth looking wax seal. As you've been seeing, I grabbed my spoon, I poured it on my envelope to seal it closed. And then I go ahead and I grab my metal seal and I just place it on top of this melted wax, and I leave the seal there just for a couple, well, I wouldn't say a couple, maybe about 10 seconds for it to kind of solidify. Now you don't want to remove it too soon because the wax might not have set yet and you could ruin the impression. You could try blowing on it and that'll speed up the cooling process of the wax, but it doesn't take long. Once you feel that it has set, just remove the metal seal and you have yourself a beautiful wax seal. Ooh. Here I am sharing where I created 2 different colors of seals just by mixing up the colors.
Bravi, bravi, magnifique!
I just really like when a product allows you to do that. You know, you purchase one, but yet you get different looks from it. Okay, I want to share with you guys another different kind of wax that exists, and this one comes in like a bar, and it has a wick that goes all through it, and you just light up the tip, and this slowly drips onto your card, allowing you to create the same effect as using the spoon. Now, I don't prefer this method because it is a lot slower. The final outcome is the same. You don't need the spoon, you don't need the warmer, but again, it is a lot slower. And here they are side by side for you to compare. Same thing, same outcome, just different kinds of wax. Okay, so I do want to share with you guys different ways you can create these seals, and it doesn't always have to be with this kind of wax. You can also do it with a glue gun and use in silicone glue. For this technique, I recommend to have a seal that is completely flat, meaning that it doesn't have a design to it. So I have been collecting dry flowers throughout the years with this process in mind. So all that you have to do is have dry flowers. And you just pick the flowers off of your garden, off of bouquets that you have given you, and just place them inside of a book and press something heavy on top of it. Let it sit for about 2 months or so. You come back and your flowers are completely dry and flat. You go ahead and you place some of these flowers on your envelope, whichever little design you would like. Grab your glue gun with clear silicone glue in it and pour it on top of these flowers.
Careful not to burn yourself now.
Then you grab the flat seal and you press it against the silicone, just like that. And you see here, as I raise it, how the silicone just oozes on the sides of the seal. And again, you want it to cool off before you lift it. Silicone takes a little longer to cool off than wax. So you do want to wait a little bit longer and make sure that the silicone is well set before you lift the seal. And at first, you could probably struggle a little bit lifting the seal off because it is silicone and it is glue, but it does lift well. This is a perfect example of when you don't let it cool off and set enough. You get it to stick in places that you don't want it to. But overall, it is a good impression. You could see the flowers right underneath the glue. All right, so you can also do this technique using a seal that has a design to it. And this is what it would look like. Same way, we bring in the hot glue, we dispense the silicone glue on it, we bring in our happy birthday seal, press it right on top, let it set for a good while, and then lift it, and voila, here is your result.
Doesn't it look pretty?
Indeed it does. Now I could hardly see the happy birthday because it has all that beautiful background in the back. So here's an idea for you. So once again, I organize my little petals here and I sprinkle a little bit of these like seeds, I think they are. And I go ahead and I grab my glue gun and I pour some silicone glue right in the middle of these. I do have a little tip for you here. When you're pouring glue and you have petals as large as these, make sure that your glue is touching part of the envelope like I am doing here, or else these flowers will not have anything to ground them to the envelope. I hope this makes sense. Okay, so then I grab my seal from Craspire, the happy birthday one, the oval one, and I press it again against my silicone glue. I let it set, and you can see that the happy birthday is not very noticeable. So what I'm going to do is I am going to grab some Nouveau metallic mousse. Now, Craspire does sell some metallic pens, which are ideal, and they are made for this that I'm going to show you. But because I don't have these pens, I'm going to resort to something that I do have, which is this Nouveau Embellishment Mousse, and it adds dimensional details to your craft project. If you don't have this mousse, look for something that you might have, a metallic touch of something, like this Art Alchemy metallic wax that I've had for years and I never used it, or this other Art Alchemy acrylic paint that is iridescent. Look into your stash, see what you have.
You never know.
So all you have to do is just grab a little bit of this mousse with your finger, or if you have this metallic wax as well, or acrylic paint, and dab a little bit of it on your finger. And just gently brush it over the raised areas of the seal. And you could see how slowly the words start popping up. They start being easier to distinguish. They're not as lost. Here you could see a close-up of what I am referring to. See, you could clearly see it says Happy Birthday. You can create the same feel and look on seals created with wax.
See how pretty?
Okay, last but not least, I want to share with you how you can use these dry flowers and make them really pop. So what I like to do is, again, arrange the flowers that I will be adding to my envelope, add some silicone glue right in the middle of it, and instead of pressing on it, as is now, I go ahead and I bring in a smaller flower and I just place it right on top of the silicone. Then I bring in my flat seal and I press on it. The same as the other process, let it sit till it sets. Then when I lift it, you can clearly see the beautiful tiny little flower that sits right on top of the seal. And this just looks gorgeous. It really does make this whole envelope pop. It makes it look beautiful. It's very organic and I truly love it. And I enjoy seeing it. And much more gifting it and just enjoy seeing the faces of people as they admire these seals. You don't have time to wait those 2 months for these flowers to flatten out, and go ahead and dry them as they are and add a little bit more dimension. Here are these like little seeds. I go ahead and I spread them on the envelope, and then I grab these petals, these yellow petals that just dried a little curly, and I go ahead and I add these to the envelope. I add the silicone glue, and on top of the silicone glue, I add these purple dried flowers, these little purple flowers, and this works exactly the same as with the flowers that I had to dry for a longer period of time. I really do hope that some of these ideas were helpful to you, and I hope that you get inspired. I hope you create and be happy. I'll go ahead and I'll link a coupon code for you to use in case you're interested in heading on over to the Craspire website for any of these products. There is no commission being given to me. It's just a way to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much for joining me. I invite you to please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit the notification bell, hit like, and comment. Thank you so very much, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Burn myself. Owie, owie.